So with Wales on the verge of getting to the World Cup in Qatar, it's worth taking a look back to their only appearance in the tournament to date in 1958 when they got to the finals in Sweden. They actually only originally finished second in their qualifying group and weren't due to go to the tournament that year. But because everyone in Israel's group in the Middle East had pulled out due to political tensions, Israel technically qualified for the World Cup without actually playing any qualifying games. So FIFA ruled against this and made them play a playoff against Wales, who were randomly drawn out of all the second place teams in Europe. So Wales went to Israel and beat them 2-0, and then the return game in Cardiff in Indian Park, Wales also won 2-0 to book their place at the World Cup in Sweden that year, which remains the only time a team has failed to qualify through their official qualifying group and then still made it to the World Cup. So Wales were led by their manager, Jimmy Murphy, to Sweden, who was also the Man U assistant manager, but took time off to take Wales to the World Cup finals. When they were there, they drew all three of their group games and finished with 3 points, jointly in second place with Hungary, who also had 3 points. So Wales were made to play a playoff game against Hungary to see who would progress into the quarterfinals. They managed to win this game 2-1 against Hungary, but it came at some cost as John Charles, Wales's best player, was injured. He was playing for Juventus at the time and was something of the Gareth Bale of the era. So Wales progressed into the quarterfinals and were drawn against Brazil. And they put up a remarkable effort, only losing 1-0 without perhaps their best player, John Charles. And it was Pelé who scored against Wales in the 66th minute to give Brazil the victory. Brazil then went on to beat France 5-2 in the semi-final and Sweden 5-2 in the final. So considering Wales managed to only lose 1-0, this was really a remarkable effort at the time, and one that Wales, only a very small country, without their best player, could really be proud of. So after the World Cup, the Welsh national team came back here to Cardiff, and they didn't really get much reception from the Welsh public, partly because Cardiff was getting ready to host the Commonwealth Games that year, and the media hadn't really made a big deal of Wales's World Cup because nothing was really expected of them. But the Brazil team did remember the really close game that Wales had given them, and Brazil invited the Welsh national team back to Brazil in 1962 and 1966 to play Brazil in warm-up friendlies for the World Cups in those years. Now, Brazil obviously won the 58 World Cup, they also won the 62 World Cup, and they won the World Cup in 1970. So they won 3 out of 4 available, which has never been done before or since by another team. So Wales actually earned the respect of one of the greatest teams ever to play football in that period, which is a pretty good achievement for a country that's mostly known for rugby playing. And this actually culminated in 1991. Brazil were invited back to Wales for a friendly here at Cardiff Arms Park, when Wales managed to beat them 1-0 thanks to a Dean Saunders goal, mirroring the loss they had 1-0 in 1958. So if you have enjoyed this video, I think you should definitely watch the next video about the Commonwealth Games that were held here in Cardiff in 1958.